Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and welcome to another episode of the Marky Dragon Show. I am working on comments that were given to me through YouTube, which you can send to me at any time in YouTube, on my YouTube channel. Sometimes I read them online, sometimes I read them offline, but always be prepared for them to be read, and possibly read even blind online. So if you send me something there, don't make it private, because it just might be exposed in the public. So, I am at Noxon, Montana, at a friend's ranch, and having some vacation time here, but of course I brought the camera, and I'm standing in a little cabin, which maybe you'll see in some other videos, but I'm on the front porch of the cabin right now. This is the lake view of the cabins, and the mountains behind me. Just absolutely beautiful out here, really liking it, and in fact the noise you hear in the background, which is behind the camera here, is a nice babbling brook. So I got this question from Shablo5, and it's kind of long here, but it's really good. It's really good. So he says, I may miss a few parameters here, but when games were created, it was about mechanics and design. It was about core gameplay. Pong wasn't aesthetically pleasing. In fact, they even had to put in two players playing ping pong on the box arcade, just so that you knew what was going on. You know, I've actually played Pong on an original machine. There's only about 100 of them that I know of. And yeah, very, very rare. That's one of the first arcade games ever, was Pong. And then it came out later for Radio Shack sold a standalone version where there was, it was battery operated. It had just an RCA jack and connected into the back of your television. And the sound came from the controller itself. It had a wheel on it only and a couple of flip switches. They weren't actually, you know, you didn't push them on, push them off. They were actually toggle switches up and down. And you had a button and your roller on there. And then the second player was actually connected via a wire and had to sit next to you. And so, boy, those were the old days. I had one of those from Radio Shack. I think I got it when it fell to a price of about $40 or something like that. I mean, can you believe that? I paid for a whole video game machine, $40. But all it did was Pong, which was just, you know, breakout against another player, except there was nothing in between. No bricks to break. Okay, Breakout's old enough. You guys may not even remember that either, huh? Okay, so let's see. Then the shift to polygons and fully rendered models took place. Cutscenes became the big thing. I remember that. Getting actors to actually be in your video games was a really big deal. And the cutscenes, bringing the movies into the games, which they were really not very interactive. They were very much like movies, and sometimes the cutscenes were very disjointed from the actual gameplay. And so it really forced you into this path, which I didn't like it. Okay. Then the race for the biggest and best graphical technology was on. But now we've seen the capabilities of our modern technology, and most big developers switching over to other ideas like motion control, user interactivity outside of the game, etc. What do you think will happen to the core of gameplay? Because let's be honest, in the past 10 years, we've had a plethora of games that look absolutely stunning. But at the end of the day, don't have the great gameplay. Let's see. Do you think now we have hit the high point for graphical fidelity, that we will be going back focusing on gameplay? Some people argue that indie games, the indie genre, is where the real gameplay innovation is. Do you agree with this? If so, do you think that it'll eventually become the mainstream? Well, you know, speaking of indie games being successful, what about Minecraft? Oh my God, that is the ultimate in successful indie games. You know, there are... this is something that I've seen recently, which is indie games coming out with particular things about gameplay that are new and innovative. and then the big guys hopping on and copycatting them. And this is just a normal thing. I mean, in any business, when you see somebody else having successful actions, if you can replicate them without being an exact copy, you do. It's just part of business. It's part of how you make your stuff better. So, as far as graphics go, we are probably in 10 years from now. Think about this. We could be playing a game that's a lot like World of Warcraft, given the scope in which players are attracted to it, and the virility of it, and the stability of it. It's good gameplay. It's fun. You get to play with your friends and everything. Imagine that we were playing World of Warcraft, but you went to some local shop, local computer store or whatever, and you got yourself a full body scan where they would set you on a little pedestal and they would run a scanner around you, and so you could have yourself then appear in the game looking exactly as you are. Or you would take yourself and then, like the character creators, so you get rid of that stomach, get rid of that double chin. Maybe somebody like me would put hair back on my head again. Or somebody who wanted a mustache and beard would add that to themselves. And you'll be playing a representation of yourself. And so, and when everybody sees it, they will know it's you. And so you'll see your friends in game and you'll recognize them. You won't even have to see a pop-up over their head of who they are, except they'll be wearing armor and a cape and carrying a sword or whatever. I think the graphics still have quite a ways to go because there's a lot of realism that can be added. And now I think to crack that barrier, there's going to be something new that needs to come out in technology, and it's got to be. I think we can already do it actually, but it's not available for the masses. So there's that. Now, what if we take something like that and we take a lot of these indie games that are just so good and we add that element in, then does that make a AAA title? I don't know. So it may. I think that the further step into graphics is further realism. Now, there's also going to be other fluidness and everything. What I mean by that is like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. When you saw that movie for the first time and you saw how they moved and everything, it was really incredible. It was fantastical. It was also still within the believable range. And so, I think that a lot more stuff like that your characters will be able to do. We're already able to do that, but maybe it just doesn't feel fluid or flow well. So now, as far as indie games, you guys know I'm a big supporter of indie titles. And in fact, if you haven't heard about it, we are working on an unnamed MMO right now that is an indie title. And it's in conjunction with a company called NeoJack. And so we are doing a weekly series on that where we are taking input from people like you. And we're doing it in a couple of ways. We're doing this round table where as many as 10 people can get in on the round table at one time and all be on camera. And so we are doing that. And then at the same time, we have forums, which you can join up. And I'll put a link in the description for the forums. Or if I forget, just look for the Let's Make an MMO series. I sometimes forget. I don't always review these videos when I'm editing them. I just remember what I said in them, but I sometimes forget things. Oh my, I'm only human. So there's that, and the indie development is going strong. As we get more tools like Unity and stuff, Unity is a big game platform to develop on in all kinds of games. What's really neat about Unity, and the MMO that we're working on is created on Unity, except Unity is not a MMO platform. It is more of a a platform for like, maybe up to 64 people on the same server playing together. So you do like your first person shooters and stuff where you have 50 people, 64 people, something like that. That's what it's developed for. Except NeoJack has made an entire application that goes with Unity to turn it into a full MMO, single world MMO. And that's one of the things I'm really excited about with this. So Unity works on PC, Mac, Linux. It works in all of the commercial web browsers. It works on Android and iOS. And so, what more is there? Which Android and iOS cover all the tablets and stuff. It doesn't work on BlackBerry that I know of, but I don't know of many gamers that actually use BlackBerry. So it is very versatile. Now it can't play the same graphics level on like my phone as it can on a PC. It has to be a different version. It'll be like the lowest graphics settings, and in the PC you could run the highest graphics settings. But as even the technology on that comes out, so what is it? The Samsung Galaxy 4, S4, S3, S4, whichever one just came out, quad core processor, and it's more powerful than half the stuff I've got in my house. I can't believe it. Even I've got this Galaxy Note 2, and this thing is a full computer right in here. In fact, many times I'm able to do all of my work on this phone, and I do play some games on it, but not too many. I tend to not want to distract myself with games because when I'm not sitting at the computer for gaming, because I should be working on other things. A way of self-control. Don't install the games. I can't play them on it, So I would be interested in what all you have to think about where the future is going. And I would encourage you, if you have a lot of thoughts about where it's going, to come and help us with this MMO. Let's build an MMO. Because the indie thing is all about innovation. The indies don't have the budget to do the big stuff. And so what is their hook? Their hook is, what can I build without a lot of money, real life money? What can I build that's going to be fun? And isn't that the basis for all games? Aren't games supposed to be fun? If you had games that weren't fun, that were not fun, would you play them? Only as educational tools, like learning the stock market or, learning math or whatnot. Sure, if you want to do some more education and make it more fun than just, pencil and paper or whatever, then sure. But that's what it's all about. It's all about the fun, and so I think that indie games have that nailed. And a lot of indie games are just test of stuff too. There's another company that I've worked with a little bit that came out with a tablet game that when I played it, it wasn't fun. And I told them that. And they said, well, this one isn't so much about fun. We're going to give it out for free. And we're going to have people use the mechanics within the game to see whether or not this formula works out well for combat in another game that they were developing. And what they were hoping is that people would use it in ways that they had not thought of, or try and use it in ways that they had not thought of, so that they could improve the gameplay in this other game. And I think that worked to a certain extent, because when I tried it was very hard. And so my first thought was, well, if I did this, it would be so much easier. And that was the kind of feedback they were looking for, and they just gave it out for free. So I'm sure some people had fun with it. Other people said, screw this. This ain't fun. But the point of it was not to be fun. It was more of an experiment. And so I've seen a few of those out there. And, so we can take all those things and learn. And last thought, if you are participating in the Let's Build an MMO, you may think that everything needs to be a unique idea. It does not. Take what you see out there, make it your own, and then implement it. And so if you see somebody else doing whatever to do whatever in another game, and you think that that would be a good piece in this new game, and we can make it our own, you can't do an exact copy, but it'd be hard to do an exact copy, but you take that, or maybe take this, you see this and it looks excellent, and you know of this, which functions really well, and you put them together into something brand new and exciting, you've just done innovation. I'm Marky Dragon. Take care.